Valkyrie group, by the end of the day, we should hopefully know where the players are going to be placed in the brackets. So we should know where the players are going to be placed in the brackets, unless we have a tiebreaker, which will have to be broken before the playoffs start on Friday. In the top left-hand side, our red Terran player, it is Cure from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Up against the pink Protoss in the bottom right-hand side. Give it up if you're cheering on Zest. Game 1 of this best of 5 series, and Zest lately has looked a little bit better in the PvT matchup. He really sort of showed up a bit more recently, and I think the big thing is that he was able to start really he really performed earlier in the game and got himself into some good positions. What he wasn't very good at was actually taking those good positions and closing the games out. We saw a couple of games from Zest. It was kind of like about a month ago or so now, maybe IEM qualifiers or so. He played one against Cure where he was winning both games and then he just absolutely botched the fights. Really quite drastically. So we'll see how it goes for him here today as he takes on Cure in the very first matchup, of course. Second match today being Innovation and Ragnarok. And that'll be a great TVZ as well, I'm sure of it, as Zest comes up into the main, has a little bit of a scout around. Reaper on the way up from Cure, getting this going, as we have got the Cybercore coming in back at home, the Nexus dropping down on the natural expansion. A lot of build-up here in the early stages of this game, and as Cure brings his SCV all the way down to the bottom side of the map. Just going to go and try and see what's going on. It's early game, both these players just scouting. Nothing too crazy just yet. We saw a lot of very weird TVPs yesterday between Uthermal and Harston. A lot of aggressive kind of plays from Uthermal, a lot of trying to end games early, etc. Expecting maybe some more aggression as today goes on. Because Cure is not the sort of player to just sit back and macro up. He will absolutely come across them. You know, he's very good at macroing up, but he's also the sort of player that will take advantage of every opportunity you give him. So expect him to be building up early, expect him to be getting aggressive early in the games, and so on and so forth, as we do see this one adept from Zest just moving out a little bit, but staying at home for the most part, just wants to block this Reaper, which means this command center from Q is coming up nicely without any issues, and there is the Stargate from Zest in the back of the main. So Adept, Stalker, Stargate, as we set this off, Q is going to hide an SCV top right, and that means he's going to hide a Fusion Core, right? This is like the build nowadays. You hide the Fusion Core. Now, here is originally, most players were only doing this on Eternal Empire, but now Q's like, nah, not just Eternal Empire. This is also a Triton build as well now. So let's see what Q can do as we set this up. Then the SCV is still just hanging out in the top right side. Again, just it's got to be a Fusion Core, right? Because what else are you keeping this SCV so hidden for? He starts to pull it back, but then I think that was a mistake. He's absolutely going to, because look at the gas he's saving up as well. So Fusion Core starts, and Q is going to open up this series by rushing towards a battlecruiser. So he's going to start this series by rushing towards a battlecruiser. He's got a couple of Hellions already coming on the map as well, looking for some early damage. Now, Zest will begin to wall off, which is the good kind of thing. The only issue for Zest here, this is actually a Phoenix, so you're not going to get a lot of scouting right away with the Oracle. So you're not going to be able to see the, the ideas of it being a BC. Phoenix can kill a BC over time, but it's pretty slow, so the BC is still likely to do quite a lot of damage. The fact it's Phoenix first, and he's going to obviously go up into a lot of Phoenix right away, might just be what he needs to kind of somehow maybe have enough to kind of fight this. I don't know. I don't think I've seen a battlecruiser opening yet against someone who just built Phoenix from the very start of the game. The 4 Hellions commit for 5 probes. It's not a bad start either, all said and done, really. As I do have the Phoenix making their way to the top left. Now, 2 more Hellions are going to show up, though. I mean, this is kind of weird to see extra Hellions being made. Cyclone now coming up as well as the Phoenix come in. He's actually building a Viking. So what's the Fusion Core for? Well, maybe he's just going to actually finish the Viking because he wants extra anti-air against the Phoenix. Then he's going to build a BC. Might also help to sort of sell the idea of this not being a BC as well, based on what the Phoenix start to see. So it's getting a little bit funky, getting a little bit interesting already. Getting this Viking up and running. And what's up, Rotterdam? The big raid, 560 people. Welcome to everyone from the Roddy stream. You just joined us for the first game of the day. You've not missed anything apart from a few probes going down so far. As a GC and a proxied Fusion Core. I mean, that's basically just standard at this point. As a GC, The Phoenix moving up in towards the main base. The Cyclone getting locked on and is going to be able to turn those few Phoenix away. So a few Phoenix getting turned back, and just going to be seeing the Robo Facility from Zest starting up on the natural expansion as well. So building up that Robo Facility, getting that started. As you do see a couple of extra probes coming out, extra gateway down in the main base. Still just building Phoenix here, Zest, so really is not slowing down with that count at all. As you see the Phoenix into the main now. Honestly, I mean, this feels like a very powerful third base push that's going to be coming in from Cure, though. 2 Cyclones is going to have the Marines. It's going to be 3 Cyclones soon. He will go across the map, absolutely, right? Because these Phoenix have also used a lot of their energy. I think you go. Push the third base while the BC teleports and causes chaos in the main. Shield battery in the main, though, so Zest is ready for this. And the Phoenix will recall. And as the Phoenix come up over here, the BC just starts to move away. That's, of course, out of shield battery range, so the Phoenix then can't go down. I like this as well. He pulled the hurt Phoenix back and got back to the shield battery to get healed up again. And here's the rest of the army. The rest of the army is where I'm really worried. I'm not actually too worried for Zest about the BC, but of course, you know, at the same time, if you're fighting the BC with the rest of this, it also even becomes a bit worse. And now these SCVs could repair the BC as well. Oh, well, there's a few Stalkers here right now. Obviously, no Siege Tanks in this army because this is very Cyclone-focused to help deal with the Phoenix and the air units from the Stargates. As first Phoenix gets targeted down now, the BC is still pushing out some damage. Lock-ons were there. No real follow-up, nothing really picked up as he's just going to go back to the fight in this gateway. SCV's repairing the Cyclones, 2 of the 3 remaining. Here we go once again. Cyclone's going to get lifted up pretty much right away. Marines trying to target fire down. I mean, the Cyclones get dropped back only after they've been picked off, more or less. They go down very soon afterwards. We're going to be seeing this BC trying to make its way to the main base to do a little bit more. 4 SCVs went down. Those are the ones that were just pulled with this fight, as we now see BC number 2 showed up over in the natural expansion. There's still a shield battery per base, so shield batteries are still doing the healing they need to. They're still keeping this going. As we're going to be seeing Cure escaping away to the left side with 1 BC, to the right with another. How many Phoenix remain? Just the ones. There's not really a lot of chase potential for these, you know, onto these battle cruisers. Behind all of this, Cure takes a 3rd base. He's gone up to 52 workers. Zest on 64 probes. Zest looking really good here, actually. I mean, it's a good defense, right? He cleaned up a lot. As you do see the rest of these Marines coming out the front, joining in with the 3rd up base, morphing into an orbital. Blink +1 attack coming through. The extra gateway is dropping down. Again, there's that Yamato cannon coming up in the top right, so those BCs will be powered up with a bit of Yamato soon. What did they Yamato down? Well, what do you think the priority is to Yamato? I think just anything you can reach without being in too much trouble, right? And then just Yamato and teleport away, get repaired up, and basically then use these BCs at a later point when there's less preparation for them. You know, 2 BCs together will shred a shield battery, so you can't just rely on that. 3rd BC shows up. Like I said, Yamato's already. You could Yamato the shield battery, kill that off if you wanted to get into the mineral line. That obviously then relies on you getting in the mineral line. That Phoenix is going to get sniped. Man, you know what? The battlecruiser's animation when it attacks like a Yamato from like a distance, it really feels like it's like sniping something like a... It really feels like the sci-fi sort of rocket launch gonna knock out like a satellite. It's crazy. It looks so epic. Only really appreciate it is we're starting to see these BCs in TVP and scenarios where the Yamato fires and it like travels half the map before it connects. Big counterattack here from Zest going up the map. This was just Bio from Cure. I love his setup. The only issue is defending this 3rd base is always hard because you've got to defend this right-hand side as well. If you don't defend this right-hand side, your opponent's just going to wander straight up into your natural expansion. So you've got to be a little bit careful here. You've got to be a little bit careful here as the Stalkers blink in. And they're going to be able to grab themselves a tank right away. There's just so many units here, and this is, you know, before a lot of the upgrades finish on the Bio units. Yeah, there's Stim ready, but what does Stim matter when you're kind of missing so much of the rest? Good force fields across the 3rd base, stops the units coming towards the natural, and Zest's going to take down Engineering Bay number 1 and 2. And as Zest goes up in towards the natural expansion here, you got to remember the BCs are still across the map, so they're kind of missing from this fight. These Zealots don't have charge yet, but look at the SCVs going down. He's going to teleport the BCs into this fight to try and help out. I'm just not sure if that's really going to do enough, as the Stalkers are essentially one-shotting down the BCs that are low on health, and the other one goes down. And that's going to be everything cleaned up. Zest going to take game number 1 against Cure. That's GG. Zest says, nuh-uh, you're not getting away with any shenanigans in this series. You're going to have to play a bit more standard than that to catch me off here today. And yeah, you lost that Phoenix camp, but you got such an overwhelming lead from using the Phoenix to win that fight so heavily on the bottom side. That's what led to Zest pushing across the map and then being able to finish the game in Game 1. As in the bottom left-hand side, our Red Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Cure. Taking on, in the top right, our Pink Protoss player, Zest. Game 2 of this best of 5. As we get this up and running. It's going to be seeing the probe from Zest heading down to the bottom left. Rax, Refinery, all of this getting set up to go, and just seeing what will happen here over the next few moments. If QL loses, I'm unsubbing, says Uthermal. Subbed for 63 months yesterday. If QL loses this one series, that's it. That's the that's the straw that broke Camel's back. He's done. He's out of here. QL has been an absolute monster online lately, but I would say his form has... I don't want to say his form has dropped as much as maybe the other guys are starting to step it up a little bit as well as the GSL seasons approach. Because Zest played really well in that first game. Like, this was like a deadly killer Zest who I've not really seen look this good for like at least a couple of months, you know? Just going to be seeing the SCV going in after the probe and just going to try and nibble away at it a little bit. As you see the command center dropping down. Reaper going to be on its way up, going to be moving across the map in a few moments' time as we get this set up and ready to go. Not too much to mention here. Again, like this little depot here, just wall off this little ramp nice and early on because obviously Adepts and Stalkers, single Protoss units, can walk through the gap on that ramp, and so that's kind of not what you want to do. You don't want to let that, those units wander up here and just get in towards the natural, get in towards the main, etc. As our Reaper continues across to the upper right-hand side, is going to drop down a grenade. Some probes are going to get blasted a little bit. I'm just going to be seeing this probe. First one already going down, so one probe gets picked off here. I'm just going to be seeing the Stalker from Zest. Corona boosting. Going to be popping. Heading down to the lower left side. So Stalker begins its journey across to the bottom left of the map. Factory dropping in on the main base, getting that built up here. And a couple of Marines on the way out of the racks as well, so just reactoring up a couple of Marines. Again, Supply Depot blocking a couple of Stalkers for the moment, and just going to continue to pick their way through the Supply Depot. Natural Command and morphs into an orbital. It's actually kind of nice, going to get a kill here. There's nothing to stop these Stalkers. Is this the parting build? Oh, it is the parting build. So what this is you send the two Stalkers across the map. You don't open with an Adept. And because you send two Stalkers across the map, the Zen rush distance is really short. You get across here really quickly. But this Supply Depot has already bought Q so much time. It's amazing. And you build a shield battery in your main base to stop the Reaper from being able to pick off probes. It's really smart, but it's even smarter by Q to build this Supply Depot. Because this one Supply Depot bought you the time to get a Widow Mine out, bunker finished, and now these Stalkers don't do anything. Yeah, they delay a bit of mining maybe, but nothing compared to what this usually is. I mean, Pardon basically did this a couple days ago and won the game straight up. So, this was a really good response from Q, and I think that Depot might become standard on the low ground on this map, as long as Protoss players are opening Pure Stalker Shield Battery in the main to do this. But for Q, this is a really good defense, because now Zest has invested that Shield Battery here. He has gotten Stalkers early, which are very gas intensive, so it slows down the rest of his tech. And he hasn't really done anything with this. Like, yeah, you killed a Supply Depot, whoop-de-doo. You built a whole Shield Battery in your mineral line early in the game, right? So, that immediately offsets itself. Never mind the other disadvantages from not doing anything to slow down Q. So, I like this one from Q in terms of the first few minutes of the game. I'm going to be seeing the command center dropping in the main base. So he's already moving up to 3 bases as well, as that looks to be Zest's intention too, but obviously just that little bit slow. Zest has gone up into just the one Phoenix this game off the Stargate, now starts Blink. It's almost like he doesn't even quite know what he wants to really do here, right? I mean, 1 Phoenix is such a weird number to go into, like 3, 4, 5, sure, but 1? Just trying to watch for anything flying in through the top side, I guess, but As he goes into Blink and the Stalkers, he's gone up to 4 gateways pretty quick. There's 4 gateways, right? Yeah, sorry. I just looked at the structures tab and it said 3. I was like, wait, there was 3 more in the main, though. So yeah, it is 4 gates, which means he has maybe a bit of Blink pressure and Blink aggression, which he could apply. So that is definitely a possibility here as well. So there are a few different options still to be played out as we see a few Stalkers warping in over on the right. So those are going to be joining up as well. We're going to see a couple extra refineries finishing up on the natural. And this command center going to morph into an orbital. So morphing this into an orbital command, getting this set up, move it out toward the 3rd base. Again, Stimpak's just about halfway done here, so you're going to see this Rax lifting off, moving over to the tech lab. I'm going to put that down in a moment or two, some extra Marines on the way out. And there's a Marauder also coming into play, combat shields dropping down. So you just see the units here going to knock down these little rocks on the low ground, able to take that down. And then another barracks going to be flying, actually being placed down over here. So already just moving up to 5 racks, but I guess not too unexpected as there's the blink into the main from Zest and the stim snipe. Doesn't care about the couple of Widowmine shots. He's out of here, and what a start that was, as we're going to be seeing him still getting. I mean, he's got 2 Marauders on top of the stim snipe. Oh, great play here by Zest as he blinks on in. That's a huge kill. I mean, that slows Cure down so much, especially stim. You know, if this is combat shields, you can make it work, but stim? Stim is a vital upgrade for the Terran player, and really this entire bio army now will not be able to make the push across the map like you might usually like to. Now remember, this was a lot of Stalkers. You know, this was 13 Stalkers, 2 of them killed in this fight already. And that's a lot more than you would usually build here in the early stages, so again, it slows down tech. You know, we're talking about 7 minutes in this game, and it is still just pure Stalker on the map. And if Kyer was to stim across the map right now, Zest would probably die. You know, charge isn't ready, 1-1 upgrades are just starting. He has nothing to really work with, so he needs that stim snipe, because if he doesn't do the stim snipe and buy a lot of time with these Stalkers, then he's actually going to be in some trouble when Cure pushes. But now Cure can't push, it's become a very worthwhile investment from Zest. So far, Zest is having a really good series. I mean, first game crushing it, second game looking good. I like this as well, some multi-prong, keeping a lot of Stalkers on the map, and then the rest of them just hopping in towards the main base. Has a pylon and a gateway down here, so he went up to 5 gates early. But now he's on 8 gates with Storm on its way, Charge going to be done, 1-1 completing. So he's going to be on equal upgrades, he's going to have his first splash damage in the game as well already. It's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy how well this is going for Zest at the moment. I think a lot of people coming into this series would have expected Cure to be the, you know, favorite player by a bit of a landslide, really, but Zest is showing up today. Now, like I said earlier, Zest has had these moments where the early and mid-game has been very good for him in PvT, but then he struggled to close it out in the later stages, so let's see if he can do that now. Because this is not a game where you can just go pushing into the Terran player, you know, thinking, well, whatever, it'll be fine. This is a game where you have to try and close this out later on, but actually, maybe not, because Cure is going to pull the SCVs, and Cure is just going to go for this. Cure, an all-in SCV pull. Stalkers, I'm not sure if they've actually seen the SCVs just yet as they blink away. 4th base here needs to cancel, give that up. Oh, these Stalkers over here are going to control their way in towards this army. He's going to try pick off reinforcements. That's not a bad plan. Storm's about to be done. Storm's obviously really big in this fight. What do you drop the Storm on? SCVs to start. He's actually just going to start going in for this. The couple siege tanks probably could have targeted down the High Templar. I'm sort of surprised we didn't see that. Oh, the Widowmine there got all the High Templar in the center. Some of them still had Storms remaining as well. He was just about to drop them. He's just thinking, where best? And while suddenly Zest is not in so much of a great position anymore, as Cure comes straight across the map, missing some of his High Templar, didn't get Storms off them, and that is not good enough. You need every single Storm you can get, as right now Stalker's trying to intercept reinforcements, but there's too many reinforcements, and Zest is going to lose his 3rd base. And all the production here as well. He's warping in some extra Zealots and Archons to help out with this. And he was really only like a couple Storms and a Zealot warping away from holding that previous fight. I really feel that one Widowmine blowing up the High Templar before the Zealots could warp in and reinforce, and that's how Cure is able to tie the series up after a game that really did not go his way. In the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. This is Cure. Able to tie it up with that SCV pull when all hope seemed somewhat lost. He was able to make it work out, as in the top left-hand side, our pink Protoss player is Zest. So game number 3, Simulacrum will be our map. Let's see what happens early game. We'll not see Double Stalker early in the game trying to pressure across from Zest on this one. That really is a Zen-specific build that we saw there. As we do see the SCV having a little bit of a nibble with the probe as it comes by initially, so a little bit of a fight between the two. Start that off. SCV's coming in, chasing that probe down. We will see the command center dropping on the natural expansion here, so getting that set up, and it's going to be seeing the cybernetic score coming in on the main base. Nothing too crazy. There is a second Rax though, so that's a 2-1-1 opening from Cure. That is a little bit quirky. That is a little bit of a way to kind of change this up quite dramatically. So, yeah, let's see kind of what that turns into then. And as we're going to be seeing this Reaper coming out up the right-hand side, SCV down to the bottom right. And again, just this Rax building up onto that reactor. With the extra refinery coming through as well. So again, that extra refinery up and running. As we'll see, a factory now dropping in. So this really is just a 2-1-1. Move towards like a fast impact upgrade, kind of go with 2 medevacs, and then kind of go from there. So let's see what would happen now as the Stargate going to be finishing up in the main base. So that'll be completing shortly. As again, this Reaper just coming up the top, going to try and get in the main, but good defense from Zest, so pretty blind here from Q. Can't really see anything in the early stages. Doesn't know it's a Stargate opening. At the same time, for Q, not a lot really changes in terms of what you would do here, I don't think. I feel like because you're producing a lot of Marines, you don't necessarily need to set up specifically against a Stargate. Let's see what he does, because he doesn't have the minerals just yet to drop down the starport and the reactor, which would be kind of the next step of this, basically, typically. Maybe if you see like a lot of aggression, you'd start a siege tank here, but in TVP, I think just a lot of Marines will kind of do the job for you. The only thing that maybe would be nice would be a bunker, just in case we see like a piled on, like maybe just in case you see like a lot of like stalker pressure or something, because then the Marines are not very good in that sort of scenario. But outside of that, I kind of think it's fine for Q not to get in and see what's going on. Obviously, it's better if he does, right? You know, information is information, but as this Oracle gets ready to fly in, it's already been very careful of potential Widow Mine. Zest scanning the area before he commits, and well, now as Q, you do know what's coming your way. Pulls a few of the Marines back towards the natural, just in case the next Oracle is already coming through quickly, but it's just one Oracle straight to Blink here from Zest, so straight up Blink, nice fast third base as well at the 4-minute marker. And yeah, he's just going to go straight into his eco, but let's see how this works against the 2-on-1, because there's going to be a timing here where Zest will not have Bling, and there's going to be 2 medevacs of Marines across the map stimming into Zest's base. So let's kind of watch for that, because this could just end the game from Cure. This could just end the game. Because, like I said, there's not going to be anything to really defend this properly. Now, he's got 2 Adepts and 3 Stalkers, obviously 3 gates, he can warp in 3 more Stalkers. Yeah, I mean, you're going to see this with the Oracle in a moment. Yeah, you see the 2 medevacs coming, so at least you know that. So you should know now, okay, warp in extra Stalkers. And I think he's going to be fine, because this Stalker warping is here already, and then he's going to go for 3 more. So that's what, 5 Stalkers, 6 Stalkers, and a couple of Adepts, plus the extra warping, plus the fact he knows where this is coming in from, so he's going to be able to come and stop this from ever, you know, unloading initially into the main. He looks as though Q's going to play this slow, though. He's initially just going to go after this pylon, which is a guaranteed kill, so gets in here, gets this guaranteed kill, forces the Stalkers back. But now the Stalkers do have Blink, so you've immediately got to be much more careful with this drop. You can't just go kind of flying around everywhere, because if you get blinked on, it's goodbye medevacs. Stim Force there tries to catch the Oracle, doesn't get it. Oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe if these Marines had stimmed a bit sooner, they could have intercepted, but that's a very fortunate Oracle here from Zest, just surviving. Wants to keep that up so you can have those revelations as the game goes on, gives them a lot of information throughout the course of the game. Now look at Zest, he's been forced to make a lot of Stalkers, so now he's like, well, if you've made me make these units, I'm not just going to sit back and not use them. I'm going to bring them into play. But Q is also reinforcing across the map. His new medevac has 2 siege tanks, so it's very aggressive follow-up. You're going to see these Marines getting found by the Stalkers, so those will go down, and Q is just going to keep moving forwards towards the third base. Zest is kind of hunting for stuff, but yeah, this third base is going to be in some immediate trouble here. And there's going to be seeing Zest. He's just going to pull the probes away. He's going to recall. I don't like the recall here, actually, because he's going to recall right into Marine fire. So already the first few Stalkers had to blink away. The tank shots were obviously there as well. And they're not going to save the third base, so Zest not only loses the third base, he also loses some units in trying to defend it. So Q is able to pick off the third. And actually supply blocks Zest, 84 over 78, so waiting for pylons before he can build more stuff. Q really doing a lot with this opening now. Really putting himself in a bit of a better position, as we're going to be seeing a few extra Stalkers coming up to the top. Let's see. A little bit of army. Setting up on the left, and now all those Stalkers coming back over the right-hand side. Tank still hanging out here. As we see the Marines summoning in for the Oracle. I mean, there's just a lot of Stalkers across the map once more from Zest. We're going to be seeing those Zards going to start charging forwards. Stalkers realizing they should come back home and defend. These 2 tanks still here from earlier. I mean, this is all known about. So it's not too surprising. As, oh, the Stalkers, what was that blink? Well, Zealot's coming in at the same time, but man, the Stalker's still taking a lot of damage. He kind of targets down. He goes for the Zealots. I feel like the Marines could have stemmed into the Stalkers maybe and gotten rid of a few extra Stalkers. Because then maybe you can actually just lift up and get out. Now Q loses quite a bit waiting for reinforcements to show up. But when those reinforcements get here, it's obviously quite good for him. Q is down an armor upgrade. He only went 1 engineering bay early. And the other thing to mention is his third CC is only just finished up, only just moving out into position now. Does he just have enough anyways to kind of win this out? What's crazy is the fact that these Stalkers are just kind of left fighting on their own on the bottom side. But the mine's going to start picking away at the Zealots. Obviously, +1 armor helping them quite a bit against just the +1 attack. Keeping those Zealots nice and tanky, especially against Marauders. Their damage output just isn't really felt against Zealots at all. We're going to see this army continue to come on through it. I think Q is just going to keep on attacking to overwhelm right now. Zest doesn't have the time to really set up into any sort of proper splash damage. He's got Storm on the way, but, well, he's got 2 High Templar, and where are they? They're coming in from the natural expansion, so he's setting up for it, but I'm not really convinced he's going to get those Storms off in any sort of meaningful manner. He's down 30 supply right now, so even if you do drop 2 Storms, they're going to have to be absolutely perfect to really have an effect, really have an impact here. If those Storms are not, like, absolutely spot on, this Bio Army is just going to keep on overwhelming us. Starting to pick away at this robot facility, kiting away once again, letting the Wooden Mines pick away into the Zealots. Those weren't bad Storms. They hit, across the entire army. And it is going to slow Q down. It's going to push him back as the Wooden Mine here is going to force the blink away. Will give Q the chance to disengage a little bit. And, well, I mean, Q is still just rallying units out. He's about to hit +1 armor, so extra little bit of upgrade to help him out here. I'm just going to be seeing this army of Q continuing out around into the center of the map. Stalkers in the upper left. Bio Army from Q pushing across. And all the way out up to this top side again. These Stalkers hanging around the top as well. The Bio stimming in. I'm just going to be seeing these couple of Marines coming in from the right as, again, stimming through. Just going to see the Stalkers being picked away at. Immortal taking some damage here. High Templars coming forward, looking for the Storms. First Storm drops down. A couple of Zealots get cleaned up. Medevacs being shot down as well. Another Wooden Mine is going to connect on a couple more Zealots here. And again, just going to be seeing Q's numbers really. I mean, it's getting to that point where we've kind of expected Q to be getting to for a little while, which is the point of almost overwhelming. He's so close to doing it, but there's just enough here to hold on again from Zest. The Ghosts are going to make the difference, because the Ghosts are going to take away the tankiness of this army. The shields are going to disappear, and this army is going to get absolutely shredded. So that extra little bit of tech from Q should be enough to close this out, really. As we do see him getting aggressive again. And what can Zest do right now? It's very tough. I was going to say a Warp Prism across the map or something, but he's actually just got the Prism with High Templar in, so he's just looking for a good storm out of those. I almost feel like a Prism across the map would be great, because at least then you can put some counter pressure on. Right now, Kyo doesn't have to worry about his home base. He's just able to go fight, fight, fight. And yeah, it might feel like you need everything impossible at home as Zest, but the problem is if you're trying to, you know, just bring everything home, it's not working for you. So yeah, you might feel like you need it, but if it's not going to work anyways, I guess then you're hoping for some really good storms, right? You're hoping for storms that can change the game, rather than just a Warp Prism that can maybe change the game. So, yeah, I mean, I can get it, but it just feels like Zest maybe he's had a lot of time to maybe try and do something after he did hold off a couple of these rounds of attacks. But again, what's to say if you send the Prism across the map and warped in there that he'd even hold on these attacks any longer, right? He might have just fallen apart already. Ghost going to drop their first EMP on the Immortal. The other EMP is not used yet. Now drops on another Immortal on the bomb side and a Sentry. And that's pretty much going to be game, right? This time round, drops an EMP on the Archons. GG from Zest. And Q will take game number 3 of this series. Goes up 2-1 and is one map away from advancing to the winner map. As we kick off into game number 4 in the bottom right-hand side. After being down 0-1, he's won 2 in a row. Our blue Terran is Cure. And the top left, pink Protoss, Zest. Loved how he played in game 1. Felt he had a good position in game 2, but just slipped up on the fight against the SCV pull. And in game 3, it did fall apart for Zest. You know, it was his mistakes early on in the game, putting him in a bit of a weird spot. Putting him in a bit of a weird spot, as we do just see some probes growing and boosting out of the Nexus. To see where they're going to be headed here over the next little while. It looks like we're going to start jumping in towards this assimilator, which just started building up. As we do see the barracks dropping down from Cure down into the bottom right-hand side. We're going to be seeing the gateway about halfway done. There's barracks coming through. Nightshade for the 4th map. See how Zest plays it. Again, he's been pretty Blink heavy, and really heavy on Blink as well, right? Not just a handful of Stalkers, not just 2 or 3, like really like good amount of Stalkers getting aggressive every single game so far. You do see the Nexus dropping down in the natural expansion. Cybernex core before the Nexus, so this will be maybe a bit more aggressive from Zest in terms of, you know, coming across and putting down your first couple of gateway units, etc. So, yeah, let's set up for that right now as we do see the Cyber core about to finish up. That'll be done in a moment or so. I'm just going to Chrono Boost out the Adept. Starts up Warp Gate pretty quickly as well, so that's already kind of aggressive signs in a way. Starting that Warp Gate immediately here. Let's see what else comes of this. Is Zest just going to be scoutless here as well, so he's completely blind. Kira just double checking there is indeed an expansion. CV coming back home then as we get ourselves into these early few moments. Just going to be seeing the Adept of Zest coming and making its way down to the bottom right. So the Adept of Zest coming over here. Robo facility just about halfway done from Zest as well in the main. Again, just Chrono Boosting out this Nexus right now. And we've seen our Command Center finishing up. We'll give the morph into an orbital. So getting that orbital morphed in already. Again, this Adept just making its way out over towards the upper left side for the moment. It's not going to be too aggressive at all in the end. Did you see Kira even coming forwards with like a few Marines and a Heli and just gathering up together? So Kira feeling pretty good, just moving out on the map already. Ooh, starport to the Tech Lab. What's it going to be, Raven or Banshee? There's the gas for Raven. He also has the gas for Cloak Banshees. It's going to switch you up a bit. Go Cloak Banshees. I like this. You know, games 1, 2, 3, very bio-focused, very kind of push-heavy early. Game 4, switch you up. Switch to those Banshees. Wonder if we'll even see Kira playing a bit of TVP mech. We have seen a lot of the other top Terrans doing it. Meanwhile, Zest, he actually opened with a very fast robo facility here, and he gets into a couple of early observers, which means you really don't want to take damage because you do see this attack coming. You can warp in units to defend it. Robo Bay very quickly, so he's going to go Disruptor drops to start this off. And we do see the first Marine going down. Hellions trying to make their way through. Stalkers starting to pick their way through some of those Hellions. Hellions taking quite a bit of damage here initially, and again, the Stalkers and a couple of Adepts continue to make their way up to kind of deal with this. So they move up to the top side, just going to be seeing full cleanup here. Loses 6-7 workers though. It's kind of a lot to lose. Because especially when you open Robo, you haven't got as many probes as usual. You've been kind of setting up observers. It's very expensive. You know, you're going into actually not even Disruptor drop, a Colossus drop opening, and you've lost 7 workers. So your economy is really low while playing Colossus, but you genuinely want to get up to take 3 bases with nice and early and go there. Right now the observers are out, so there should be detection here. Not sure where that first observer is going to be coming from. Looks like from the south side, about to arrive, but it means that the Banshee gets out alive. 4 more probes going down, and Zest's economy is really starting to fall apart a little bit. It's 38 probes to 39 SCVs. Look at the income graph though, you'll see the impact it's had in Q's advantage, because all of this time as well, Q is able to drop down mules. So Q is really, yes, Zest so far has been ahead in eco, which is kind of how it usually should be. Now it's going to start being Q who takes that little bit of a lead, and that's really big for him. As you see this Warp Prism, Colossus inside, coming across the map. Can it do something here? Raven's actually very scary for Zest at the moment, because if this Raven comes out and hits a Matrix at the right time on the Prism and the Colossus gets stranded, well, that's a disaster. I mean, this could arguably be a disaster too, although Colossus drops down, fights the Cyclone off, but at least now you know what's coming. Just as double confirmation here for Q. So now he knows it's a Colossus drop. Tank in the natural, Raven in the main. With the tank here, you just don't do that much. You really don't. A Viking would be the hard counter, right? Because then a Viking hits the Colossus, a Viking hits the Prism. There's no real way to get rid of it unless you go for like a Stalker warp in, which is obviously so difficult to do. As you see the Prism coming down to the bottom side. And +1 attack, Stimpak coming in. +1 armor starting up as well. And we do see, again, the Warp Prism coming around the bottom side here. So, bringing this Prism around the bottom, going to move it in towards the main base. Just already seen a few of these SCVs starting to go down. One on the left side. They get picked off as well, as we do see in the Cyclone. Gonna get repaired up as well. Charge, +1 armor coming through. Templar Archives dropping on down to get this start. Again, Stimpak coming through. 1-1 upgrades as well. A couple of these Vikings going to join up with the Raven. Yeah, looking good, right? Disruptor coming through. Templar Archives about halfway along. What's going to get a couple of SCV kills here. Interference Matrix was so close to going off on that Prism. If that goes down, that Colossus doesn't get in, Colossus dies. And that's obviously, I mean, you don't want to lose the Colossus here, right? You still want to build up. Well, I mean, I say you want to build up this Colossus camp, but he actually hasn't been doing it, right? Because he built the Disruptor and so on. It's kind of weird, though. Going straight towards Storm already. It's definitely a weirder way to do this than usual. Alright, well, a couple tank sieging between the natural and the third base. 3 bases here from Zest, couple of shield batteries dropping down, cannon as well. Got the Storm already set to go. I mean, Zest does a lot of splash damage here. And Q has not been able to do anything other than sit back. Now, he's been built into a lot of tanks. I do wonder if we're going to, you know, 3 bases, 4 bases, if we're going to see a second and third factory and go into like just pure tank production. Because he has made more than just those initial few where then you kind of switch out and go in towards like Widow Mines or something, right? So, yeah, I wonder. Ghost Academy's dropping down here from Cure in the back of the main base. Armory dropping down as well. Here come a couple of Banshees showing up, and already 3, 4 probes going down. Make that 5 and 6. 6 workers killed as the Banshees just about slipping away up to the top of the map. Ooh, nice little feedback coming down. Hitting one of those Banshees, doing a very good job of that. There's a very good job of that, as we're going to be seeing the Blink still coming through, +2 attack, +2 armor, +1 attack. All of this getting roll on disruptors on the way out as well. We do see this army of Zest starting to push through in towards the center and towards the middle. Again, Ghost setting up 2-2 upgrades coming in. The fact that you got to drop a storm and try and kill the Banshees here is, oh my god, and another one. Another one! And he gets the Banshee kill at least, but how many storms do you want to use up just chasing Banshees? Even going to morph those into Archons. Does he really not have High Templar left? Okay, they're in the Road Prison. I was going to say, I was clicking High Templar and it was taking me to the Archons. I was like, is that a bug or... I mean, only 2 storms though isn't really that crazy. We do see that tank count still pretty high up. Has he stopped building tanks? It looks like it. Because, I guess as you add in Ghosts, you don't really play the tank heavy style, right? You just like go for Ghosts instead. So, we're not going to be seeing extra factories here at all. As Kyo just hasn't launched an attack bar the Banshees all game long and is now just happily taking this 4th base. Setting this up over on that 4th base location, getting that going. Meanwhile, Zest's army setting up in the center. A few disruptors off to the side. There's War Prism going to be coming all the way over the left as well. It's going to be moving down, and a few Zealots over here from Zest. Also something to watch out for. So do you see a couple more disruptors still just coming on through? A lot of disruptors that Zest is playing with in this game. You know, 4 and building up 2 more, so that's going to be 6. It's going to be one of those games where it's very difficult and frustrating for Q to try and push in, and that's why I love this Fusion Core play. Because now he's going to be able to go into those ranged Liberators. He's going to be able to control that space, so while he's getting pushed back, the Liberator should be able to stand strong and still hold whichever position he wants to be in, so that eventually he can get back into it. It also stops the Protoss player just using those disruptors as a way to push forwards freely. You know, now they're going to have to pay for those push forwards with at least the units to be able to blink in and to, you know, take down the Liberators. Which comes at its own risk. So Zest continues over the right-hand side. Ooh, big EMPs. Big EMPs. Disruptor Shot's going to go and just try and finish off that Sense Tower. Doesn't quite get there. I mean, that's the start of a fight you're looking for, is Q, who actually just loads up and takes this opportunity to say, well, you're not going to hit me right now, because I've just hit you with EMPs, you're going to wait to regenerate your shields. So I'm going to take the chance to move my army around in these medevacs, and I'm just going to unload here and take the long way around. There's no base top side, but there's obviously this 3rd base you could eventually look to strike. And Zest has absolutely zero vision to deal with this. He could bring these High Templars in for like a backstab storm, but only once this base is already under fire, and by then it might be too late for these High Templar to even play catch-up. And CQ scans the left-hand side, so he sees, okay, well, this is where your 4th base is. This High Templar is going to be in trouble from the Banshee. Storm! Banshee and the High Templar go down together. Comes straight in, takes down the first shield battery here. The cannons will not last very long, and like I said, there's just not really any defense here. The army's on its way over. 7 probes, couple cannons, a shield battery. Lifts up and gets out, losing what, about 3 Marines? It's a good drop. As the Cyclone from earlier in the game goes down, that's not really a huge loss. Again, Cyclones, as the game passes by, don't really do all that much, right? They're definitely units which are much better early in the game than they are later in the game. As our units will begin to unload here again over to the right. Just going to be seeing the base setting up as well. That command center morphing in. So that's behind all of this, though. Because Q has been so passive, he's built a fleet beacon, 4 Stargates, and now he's starting to build carriers. So he's trying to get up in towards carriers here. Meanwhile, Q is just going in towards nukes, so we're going into a real late-game duel between Q and Zest at the moment. Cleans up a lot of the Zealots bottom left. That's a really nice pick-off. Stops Zealots hitting one of his extra bases, stops him from being harassed. Stalker's blinking forwards, trying to see what's up. Planetary Fortress. Setting up right now as the Bio goes and hides in the corner. And they see him be on this as well. So Zealots, they will actually just get picked off again. This is really good trades. I mean, yeah, you're going to start losing some of the Bio, but not too bad. I didn't see where the nuke was. Chat? Nuke? I think it got cancelled, right? I wasn't paying attention to where that nuke launched, but seems like it doesn't connect to anything. I felt like the Protoss player right there. I was like, where is the nuke? Where is it? But yeah, Zest found it faster than I did. Again, just Cure really not letting Zest do much in the game, right? Denying him from being able to, harass with Zealots, etc. Clean those up time and time again. Gets very expensive. As we're going to be seeing Zest coming out through, well, actually down to the bottom side of the map here. You can see a couple of Liberators will start a siege. Again, starts with some very good EMPs across the entire army. And immediately Zest just has to think about backing away, because you can't realistically fight this when when you're on no shields. So Zest has to back away just instantly there. Kills his own Stalker. He's so annoyed. He wants to kill something, so he kills his own Stalker. And that's just oh, it's not even a misclick. Is he just freeing up supply? He kills his Archons, and now another Stalker. I mean, he's freeing up supply for the air army. I just didn't think the Archons were going to be the initial choice. I guess he wants to keep some Stalkers maybe to help with blinking in for the Liberators. The thing is, Q's just kept on expanding. So Q is now on 6 bases across the board. This time we do see where the sneak's coming in from. It's coming in on this top side base, and Zest isn't really responding to this, so it looks like we're going to have a nuke landing dead center. Goodbye 13 probes and a brand new High Templar. This cannon pretty damaged as well, as we're going to be seeing a few Marines will make their way into that base very soon as well. High Templar on the bottom left-hand side trying to drop a storm to defend, but not really finding it. As you see extra Vikings coming through from Cure. Marines coming in. If he gets the pylon, he'll cancel the warp in, which is very painful, and this base is still unprotected. And he can load up and go into the main base, and then he's going to realize there's a ton of carriers here. So, yeah, in the end, the carriers come through, and they will protect this base. But again, Cure put on some very good pressure. Now a nuke in towards the natural expansion. Zest's going to have to be a little bit better at dealing with this, because you can't just go losing the mineral line every single time there's a nuke. So Zest's going to do it again. Nuke number 2, baby! Only 6 probes this time around. A couple of them were hiding out in the bomb shelters, aka the assimilators. Pretty safe in there. They don't even get affected by radiation. Amazing. Alright, Zest still coming down the bottom side. He's got the carrier cannon, but look at what Q's got. He's got 10 Vikings, 8 Libs. The Libs are really big against carriers, because the splash damage of the Liberators kills those interceptors so quickly. You also see I think, very importantly too, some BCs coming up, and BCs can definitely be a really kind of nice later game unit to have here as the Terran. Where's this nuke from the high ground? Okay, well this time Zest is very aware of where this ghost is, comes in, cleans that up in an instant, does not let that do more than it should. So finally Zest is able to properly deny, he did deny the first nuke, right? Just nukes number 2 and 3, able to land. And now down on 50 workers as well, so Zest definitely not able to build up his bank as much as he would like to either in all of this, because, well, he's letting his workers die. I like these medevacs, by the way. They are such a fake. They're just completely empty. There's nothing in them. And there's no real bio on the map either, so there's not really much reason to have too many medevacs, so trading them out isn't even that bad of an idea. Because, yeah, the carriers are just these kind of units which are like, the medevacs are these units which are, maybe again useful to kind of heal up a couple of the ghosts and a little bit of bio, but you don't need 8 of them for the job on the map right now, basically. He's actually even just using this one to scout this top side of the map, checking to see if Zest takes this base or this base. Now, it's important to note as well, by the way, Zest is down an entire base and soon to be another, so he needs to be careful. Lots of missile turrets set up on the left side, but the right side, okay, up here is protected. This space here is a very vulnerable area. It's exactly where Zest will strike. Probably the best place for him to fight, because again, it is kind of away from any of the, stacked defenses that the Terrans set up. Oh my god, huge EMP to start though. Here we go. As the Vikings are going to try and commit in for some of those carriers. I mean, honestly, I feel like right now is, oh my god, the anti-armor missile hits as well. I do feel like the disruptors don't do much, because there's not that much on the ground apart from the ghosts. And they haven't obviously zoned them out initially here, so the first EMPs went off already. Vikings looking to see what they can do. The interceptors trying to fly into the Vikings. The EMPs, I guess the ghosts have a job to do in terms of hitting the High Templar as well. Vikings trying to get rid of the rest of these carries here. Anti-armor missile will fade away. Is there enough anti-air? Or maybe not even enough anti-air, but is there just enough stuff here to kill this for Cure? Because he's kind of struggling right now. It's a nice disruptor shot straight on the 3 ghosts there on the bottom side. And as we see this army of Zest continue to push forwards, Cure's going to come through. He's going to start bringing the Liberators in as well. Sieging these up on top. He's going to try and kill off a couple of the High Templar. He's got these Vikings which are just getting massacred, and it looks like the carrier army from Zest will get the job done. Reinforcing ghosts and bio units being picked off as we speak, and that's GG. Zest is going to bring this to a game number 5, a passive game, ends in favor of Zest, who had to strike then before Q's economy got too out of control. Going into game number 5, it was one of those scenarios where it was kind of unfortunate because the one position Zest attacked in was the one position Q didn't have any, anti-air, and so he was kind of forced into a fight without all of the missile turrets he was setting up everywhere else. I mean, that's obviously a shame, but then it was his own fault for having that weak spot. And Zest abused it perfectly to get into the lead of this game. To get into the lead of that game and to take the game and to tie us up and to take us into game number 5 as we start in the top left-hand side of the map. Our Red Terran player, this is, of course, the god himself, Q. Up against the pink Protoss player in the bottom right-hand side, Zest. Game 5 of this series, we do see the rack setting up over on the right side from Kira as well. Getting that ready to go. So he's proxied one Raxi. It's a very interesting opening. So generally when you do a proxy like this, you build a tech lab and you get marauders in the early stages of the game, and then you'll just build marines from your racks at home and bring those across the map to create like a bit of a concussive shell marauder marine attack. Let's see how this goes for Q, as we do have the Cyber Core about halfway done, the Nexus coming up on the natural expansion. And there is the tech lab. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought this probe was actually moving its way towards the line of sight blocks, but it's just going across the map, so moving across, the important thing here for Q is these Marines obviously want to try and deny the probe from seeing too much, so they are going to sit on the high ground. So you might already notice the lack of a command center, which is obviously funky. There's obviously double deep on the high ground too. It's obviously scary to kind of move these Marines elsewhere, but yeah, it's also kind of a bit of a giveaway that something is happening by bringing, Marines, by there not being a command center here. So unless you're like afraid of like a unless you're being afraid of like a early attack and you want to expand high ground, you can see already Zest's going to be setting up for the shield battery here. And there's a couple of marauders about to be popping. Extra Marines coming over, extra SCVs coming through. And the Adept coming up and is going to see the marauder, the concussive shells coming into play. And here you go, there's attacks about to be ready. Now the first shield battery is already completing. So second shield battery here is going to be important as well. What do you actually target fire? I'm not sure what the best choice is. He's going to lose one Marine already. This Adept taking a lot of damage, but now the shield battery's out of energy. Now you're going to kill this Adept. And then there's just 2 Stalkers. Next shield battery is not ready yet. You're going to start putting some damage onto that, but do you have enough time to actually get the kill on the shield battery? Looks like you do, so shield battery cancels. 2 more starting to build. Now bunkers will start to come up here from Cure. Now you're on actually a pretty crazy position because you've got 3 Marauders, and this is starting to get a bit out of hand. Going to be slowing down the Stalkers there. I like this decision as he kites around the probe, so he's going to get on top of the Stalkers for 2 of the kills. And now he's going to come back around the top side. He's just going to kite away from those probes. An extra Marine showing up as well. Just needs to be a little careful with that Marine, as now the shield battery's finished once again. If these bunkers get up though, and one of them will and the other one is so close to finishing anyways afterwards, the SCV can finish that up too. 2 bunkers in front of your natural expansion. Okay, well, you've got a good amount of shield batteries, but they're getting targeted down in range of the Nexus too. You can't build shield batteries behind the Nexus, and maybe Cure just wins like this. Immortal will start to build. So the Immortal comes out, but Zest is just going to type GG. He doesn't think he can hold this, and Cure's going to take the victory, move through to the winner match 3-2 over